The coach. Welcome to the show. The chef and cyborg save the sports radio. Football addicts since they learn how to walk. Been giving 2 cents since they learn how to talk. Yo, it's me, Gray Cloud. Know the voice of New York. The highs, the lows, the wins, the bosses. You ain't a damn loser if you took some losses. Put the gloves on. Let's see who's the softest.
What's really good, ladies and gentlemen? It's your boy Chef. I'm here with Hungry Hasan. I'm gonna tell you now. He's got one of the dopest, baddest knockouts I've ever seen. Like, real talk. When I went through some shit, I was like, I got to talk to this guy just off of this. First off, how you doing? I know it's cold as shit where you are.
I'm doing good. It's cold as fuck right now. It's like -10.
Woo!
It feels a lot worse than that. It's snowing hard outside.
Damn. All right, so the boring question I got to ask first, what everybody always has to ask first, is what got you into combat sports?
What got me into combat sports? Originally I was in law enforcement a long time ago.
Wow.
And I wanted to learn a way to kind of like hold my own, if you could say, hold my own when I was out there, right? So I started to do jiu-jitsu. I did one class of jiu-jitsu. I didn't like it too much, so I went to boxing class, and then from there, I just loved it. Me and my current coach, Parvez, he was my first ever coach and only coach. We just clicked, and we've been working with each other since.
Damn, that's what's up. So,
yeah.
With law enforcement, that's got to be a crazy transition of, I'm going to do this, but I'm a badass dude. You know what I mean?
Yeah. A lot of people back then, they knew I was into fighting, but not as much as it is now.
That's what's up. So, is it how hard is it to get into something like BKFC?
BKFC, it's a growing organization. Bare knuckle boxing in general is a growing sport. Getting the attention of the matchmakers, having good management, that's the hard part. Getting the fights, if you got the right skills, if the matchmakers think you're a good match and will have a good fight, and if you're willing to give it, just dog it out, dog every fight out, it wouldn't be too tough to get into the sport. But when you're in the sport, a lot of people have their one fight and they leave right away because bare knuckle boxing ain't for them,
No, that's one thing I'll say. I had interviewed Mike Hansen, and what we were talking about was like bare knuckle boxing. It's not for the faint-hearted. Like, if you're not a dog, don't even go in that, right? Like, and I think even Connor recently, he kind of hinted on it where, these boxers, they can come in, but this is a different breed of fighting, right? Like, there's guys, they get hit and they don't even get back up, not because they get knocked out, because they don't have the heart to try to keep fighting that fight.
Exactly. I've seen that a lot. I've only been in this sport for about a year and so now, but I've seen that a lot. A lot of boxers coming in, a lot of MMA fighters coming in. They get hit the one punch and they take a knee. It's not for them anymore because it's different. It hurts a lot more.
Yeah, I mean, you'll see fights where, they're dominating the fight. They get hit once, they're leaking to a point where doctors are like, yo, that's it, right? Like, it's an insane spot. But there's a lot of buzz around it. You being a prospect, that's a dope thing, because I've seen on your own Instagram that other people are talking about you like, yo, this guy's the real deal, and that's got to feel good for you, especially when you're hearing other people come in and say, listen, this is the guy, right? Like,
yeah, it feels good. See, I know my skill level. I know that I'm a good boxer. I know I got that dog in me, having the world see that now is to me, that's crazy, have guys like Austin Trell, world champion, fought Cotto, fought Canelo, people like that give me the recognition. To me, I've already achieved my goals in fighting. Now I just got to achieve my goals within bare knuckle.
So, see, that's the thing now. Is there somebody you want, like, going forward, or is there someone that is coming up that I don't know if you could say or whatever, but Like, is there a bullseye on someone's back, or is there something lined up?
There's a couple bullseyes.
Okay.
But we'll just leave it at that. We'll just leave it at that, you know?
All right.
Some stuff is in the works, so I don't wanna mess
Yeah,
around.
no, for sure. Don't want to
cross the lines there, you know?
No, for sure.
Yeah.
Now, also, I had to ask because I'm a big DMX guy. I'm from New York, and you put a lot of DMX in a lot of your videos. So I'm like, yo, is he like a super hip hop fan, or is it just the DMX is the right fit for his videos?
You know, all I gotta say is the X is gonna give it to you, and so am I. I grew up, you know, with DMX, with all those kind of rap songs. You know, he's a legend in hip hop and rap in general. Yeah. So to me, you know, like if the song fits the vibe, it fits the vibe, you know. So
a
lot of his songs fit the vibe. It's a lot of angry barking.
Hey, listen, see, I play football, so I listen to a lot of like Onyx. You know, I'm a little old. I'm 45, so I always listen to hip hop. Being from New York, it's what it is, like Nas or whatever. But DMX, he puts you into that vibe where it's either me or you. You know what I mean? Like it's a dog versus a dog. Let's get it. But
exactly.
Is there a nervousness when you're going into that ring, or is it just all business where you're like, I'm gonna put the work on somebody?
Honestly, my very first fight in BKFC, I thought I was going to be nervous. Because in all my amateur boxing fights, as I'm walking in, seeing the crowd and whatever, I would get a little bit nervous. But right when I seen the crowd for my very first bare knuckle fight in front of thousands, I was like, this is where I belong. This is what I wanted. This is what I need. And my fight after that, my second fight and my third fight, there is no nerves. There is none of that. It's just embracing the moment. I've trained however long I've needed to, my camp plus all the extra years that I put in. I've trained all this time for that specific fight. So there is no need to be nervous. If I didn't do good enough, I didn't do good enough. You know, but I believe in myself. So I know I'm going to put the work in, and I know that I will be good enough.
Listen, like I said, I'm from New York. I've been in fights, never know crazy on TV and nothing like that. There's always some kind of nerves when you're going to do it, when I did, whatever. But like when I'm watching you guys, I'm like, yo, there's levels to it. You could kind of see who comes in and they're walking in, and even guys who have been in the martial arts world or whatever for a long period of time. There's a nervousness that you see in some of these guys. Then there are guys that just walk in like, man, I'm ready to put the work in. You're like, how's a guy with less time this calm and relaxed versus a super veteran? So I think that's what my question was going to be: is how do you keep your composure, right? Like, because there should always be some kind of nerve, and a lot of you guys, especially you, like what you're saying is, I don't feel nervous at all. Like, how is it that you keep that calm?
Like I said, I put the work in all my training camps. I train hard every single time I can. Right now, the gym is right in front of me. I'm already an hour behind schedule because of this interview, you know? So I put in the work, and I make sure that I'm not going to be outworked. So when it's time to be face-to-face with that person, I know that I'll be knocking that person out. If I need to go the 5 rounds, I know that my conditioning will take me that 5 rounds. Right, that's the confidence I come in with, and because of that confidence, I am not going to be nervous at any time.
See, I think that's the wild part about BKFC is you hear 5 rounds. Now, if you watch some of these fights, you're in these fights. You watch them and you're like, there's no way this could possibly go 5. And when it goes 5, it feels like a way crazier war than when you see boxing in 12 rounds or something, right? Like that's 12 versus 5, and the 5 feels like the craziest thing you've ever seen. And guys are just going to war. And I'm like, yo, there's levels to this shit, right? Like to be able to withstand that kind of punishment, and that just says a lot for all of you guys who go in and do what you do. But for whoever you fight, is there like a game plan? You go in and you're like, all right, this is how I'm gonna work with this? Like, what's the ideology of whoever you're gonna fight?
My plan for every single one of my fights is obviously to knock my opponent out, put him to sleep, put him on a fucking like when LeBron dunks on somebody, you know, or when D Rose, you're saying you're from no, you're not from Chicago, you're from New York.
Oh, but I love Derrick Rose. Derrick Rose is my
different
dude.
areas. Never mind. We'll not talk that way. But like when LeBron dunks on somebody and puts them on a poster, my goal is to put these motherfuckers on posters. You know, every single fight I go into, that's my goal. Obviously, some people got some crazy chins. Some people can withstand a lot of punishment, right? And I have to go the 5 rounds. We make preparations before every single fight. We have a game plan. We know what's going to work versus what opponents. We do our film studies. But at the end of the day, my goal for every single fight is to knock motherfuckers out.
No, that's what's up.
Nice and simple.
Now what about the weight? Like, is it hard to maintain your fighting weight where you got to stay at?
Honestly, it's not. I have a good nutrition team. My nutritionist takes care of everything. Got a wife. She makes sure that my food is she makes sure that my food is exactly what the nutritionist says it is, right? So all I gotta do is I just gotta eat and I just gotta train, and that's good, you know.
Lucky man. So. Listen, salute to the wifey, because she's just as connected to your career as anything else. So much love to the wifey, you know.
Yeah.
And now is it tough on? It's got to be tough on her to, like. Is she there when you do your fights?
No.
Okay.
She stays, watches them at home. Before the fight even starts, she's already nervous, right?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, she's already nervous. Any punch I take, she's nervous, obviously, because like it's getting punched, you know. So it is, like, to me, it is what it is. But like to them, they get nervous. So
of course, you know what? Like I said, you got a rock at home, so that's fucking awesome. Now, I don't want to keep you super long. Like I said, I know you're super busy and you got everything coming up.
Okay.
No, all good. But in the nearest future, right now, this is what I'm more curious. How long do you think it's going to take for you to really get in that spot? Because right now you're 3-0 BKFC, right?
Yeah.
So you have the 2 knockouts, and you have the 5th round that you unanimously decision won.
Yeah.
Their eyes got to already be sitting there saying, because you see guys that are 1-1, 2-1, and you're like, this guy's 3-0, and he's got one of the best knockouts I've seen. It's, to me right now, it's you and the one that just happened in Knuckle Mania. I think guy Pat Sullivan just got knocked out.
That one white guy that got knocked out.
Woo!
Right? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was like, those are the 2 craziest knockouts, is yours and that one. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, all right, both of them have garnered massive attention, but at 3-0, and you've already shown, look, I'm going to knock two of my fights out. They're knocked out. And the 5th round, I still did my thing, and it wasn't even really like you weren't gassed and nothing like that. So I'm curious of how long you think it'll take, because you got 3 great fights already.
I know for a fact that there's a lot of fighters out there that are up there, you know.
Yeah, of course.
They're already starting to take notice, you know. That's all I gotta say. They're already taking notice. They know that I'm coming.
Listen, and I think that's the part where people get nervous, when you respect somebody that's coming up, and you're like, damn, eventually they're gonna be on this ladder with me, you know, like, and it is what it is.
Exactly, which is unfortunate for them, but you know, it has to be made. Eventually, you know, we're gonna two trucks are gonna collide, and we'll see who's standing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, facts.
That's usually how it is. So,
I mean, and that's where it's at. Like it, and I think it's got to be super like dope for you. Like, I think I get excited when I see Hispanics that do well, people that coach and they represent and everything. Is it like extra pressure where you go, damn, I'm doing it from all my people? You know what I mean? Like,
it's not more pressure, because like I said, I know what my skills are. I know what I bring to the table. It just gives me more,
like a drive.
Yeah, it gives me more of a drive. that I am doing it for my people. You know, just like Canelo, just like Cotto,
Yep.
just like all those, like Pacquiao, you know, like all those guys. I'm doing it for my people, and I'm gonna do the best I can because I am a representation of my people.
Absolutely. You know, and I think that's the dopest part where you get to see people from other cultures and shining. You know what I mean? Like when for a long time you really didn't have somebody like Conor doing it. You know what I mean? Like, and then Conor puts freaking Ireland on his back, and everybody knows Conor McGregor, the Klitschko's, and you know everybody else that comes into it. So you sit back, and you go, "This is so dope." I mean, like I said, I'm older than you. I was a big fan of Prince Nassim. I don't know if you remember him from back in the days, the
Prince
boxer.
Nassim,
Yeah, that was my guy. Yo, bro, he has some of the coolest entrances, talk shit. Like, I love them. Legendary
I love
dude.
that guy too, man.
I think he was at BKFC recently.
Sorry?
I think he was at BKFC recently, too.
Oh, was he? Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah. I seen a video, and I could have sworn it's definitely Prince Nassim, and I could have sworn it was BKFC. If I find it, I'll send it to you. I was like, that's my dude. But there we go. Little technical difficulties. We all good. This is what happens when you're interviewing a busy man. There we go. I don't know if I can hear you. Can you? Can I hear? I don't know if you can. You can't hear me? Oh, I can't hear you. I guess he'll be back. But nah, this is awesome. Salute to Hungry Hasan, man. The guy's doing his thing, real talk. There we go. Let me add him back into the chat.
There we go. Sorry, what were you saying? Yeah. So
no, I was just
sorry.
No, I was saying with the whole Prince Nassim thing. That's where I was on.
Yeah, like what I've noticed so far is a lot of big names. We'll just say big names from the fight community, from boxing, from MMA, from all these stuff. I've noticed that they've been, coming to BKFC. For instance, from my last fight, I had the privilege of obviously meeting Chuck Liddell.
Wow.
Over there. I had the privilege of meeting. He wasn't there, but like I got a phone call from Tito Ortiz. I don't know if you remember him.
Yo, that's one of my favorite UFC dudes of all time.
And Justin Gaethje as well. Like it's like a lot of big names are recognizing BKFC now, right? So we'll see where it goes.
Facts. I mean, and Max Crosby just signed in as part of the, I guess, like funding BKFC and all that. He's one of the best defensive linemen, in the NFL. And I was surprised at that. I was like, damn, like this is rising fast. Selling out that Philly, that's a huge thing as well.
That is a huge thing, That's 17,000, almost 18,000. That's a lot of people.
Yep. And everybody thinks that like UFC is the only spot that could do numbers like that.
Yeah. I'm just on the interview right now. Yeah. I'll lock it later. Thank you. Sorry. That was my coach.
Coach is letting them know. Oh, yeah, no. Like everybody thinks UFC is the only kind of, combat sport that could sell out arenas that way, and for BKFC to do it, which is one of the youngest, promotions that are in it, to do what they do. I mean, it's just absolutely amazing.
Yeah, it is. It's 18,000 is not a small number, Obviously, it's not UFC numbers yet. It's not the 50, 60, but how old's UFC been around?
I mean, you're from the 90s, UFC.
They've been around for 30 years, right?
That's what I'm trying to tell
around
people.
For 6, so
and
it's a difference.
And That's the thing that people got to understand. Like, people go, oh, well, they're not UFC. Well, it's the same thing with any other kind of company. When people go, oh, they're not like WWE. WWE's been around forever. These companies are newer companies. You got to give them time to develop.
Exactly.
But is there like, I would love, and I don't know if BKFC will ever do it. Remember how UFC did like the Contender Series and all that other stuff, like where you get to know the other fighters and they have, it's like the undercard stuff.
Yeah.
I would love to see BKFC do something like that, especially if they're gonna have like a prospect thing. I would love to see more.
The BKFC does have a prospect thing going on. Like, it's Fight Night prospect cards. You know, they've been popping around here and there. They also have like the amateur prospects as well. You know, like where they got those 16-ounce MMA gloves on.
Wait, that's not
6
on
ounce,
the app,
not 16,
right?
6 ounce. Sorry?
That's not on the BKFC app, right?
No. The pro prospect cards are. The amateur cards are not. Right?
Okay.
But they do have the amateur shows. A lot of them are in Florida and stuff like that, right? But yeah, like they're slowly coming up with different ways to bring in new talent. Like they have the tryouts now, right?
Yep.
Well, they've had the tryouts for the last couple of years now.
And they also have that, I think it's $25 million tournament thing.
Yeah, that's going to be coming up soon. There's been a speculation about what the weight classes are and all this logistics behind it. Nobody really knows, so
yeah, it's kind of it. All you know is the 25 mil and a tournament and how guys got to work in it and all that.
Exactly. That's all you know. You only know the money portion.
yeah. So I mean, it's super dope. Like I said, now, how hard is it, literally, to maintain where you're at? Right, like you're coming up, you're doing your thing. You got to stay kind of humble, but you got to kind of put yourself out there too, right? Like, is there this person's doing too much, or like, you know what I'm saying? Where's the balance that you want to stay at?
I don't know, to be honest. Like, I know my skill level. I know that, like, we'll just use this for example. I know if a new guy comes to the gym, right, they know of me.
Yeah.
I'm not going to let that go to my head, you know? I'm going to treat them like every other person that's in the gym. If they train hard, they got my respect. If they're just there to fuck around, well, I'm not going to talk to them because this is it's not a game.
Yeah. This is a real deal. You know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
If you're not coming in here going
exactly. So we don't waste our time. We don't waste our time with bullshit, you know? So
yeah.
So I don't really let it get to my head, but at the same time, I know where I stand on the totem pole, on the food chain, you know?
Yeah. That's what's up. Like, to me, you come off as a very humble dude, right? Like, and honestly, like, I had a homeboy, my homeboy Dave, salute to him. He was the complete opposite of me. He played safety, I was a corner. I did all the talking, he didn't talk nothing, and it would frustrate me because I'd be like, yo, bro, let these people know who you are. And, you know, he did I'll let my game do the talking for me. And I think you're kind of like him, where you're like, I'm going to let my fight do the talking for me. I don't got to tell you how great I am.
Exactly. Like, from my first fight, the one that got knocked out of the year.
Yeah.
That guy and his team was talking a whole bunch of trash.
A lot of shit.
I responded a couple times saying, you guys need to chill out.
Yeah.
This and that. They didn't. So I messaged them and I'm just like, you guys are in the same city I live in. You guys know the gym that I train at.
Let them know.
If you have an issue, come to my gym. We'll deal with it. Nobody showed up.
Of course.
When it was time for face-offs, that's when I do my talking. We're face to face. Let's see what you got. All the stuff you said before ain't coming out anymore, is it? So,
mum was the word.
Exactly.
Now the BKFC ring is not huge, right? Because it doesn't look like there's a lot of space for people to try to run, right? Like, it feels it might look big to me, I don't know. But guys don't dance around like that neither.
Yeah, so they actually have two different rings. A small ring that they use for the prospect cards.
Okay.
For for cards that for cards that they want a lot of action in because the fighters don't have big names yet, they'll try to use the smaller rank to make action happen.
To force it.
Yeah, to forge it in a way. For the bigger cards, the main events where people are known and whatnot, they'll give them the bigger ring so they could, do their thing, dance around, use their skills and whatnot. It's not just a bloodbath.
No, for sure. My thing is, it's tough where you had Knucklemania. The buzz is insane. Now, this card that's coming up looks really good. I think it's tomorrow, right? I think it's the next fight.
In Mohegan Sun.
But like, you also have Connor, who the guy Dave, he said, he told me, he wants to fight. Now the guy Jeremy Stevens, he says, I'll fight Connor in Ireland, right? Like, so you sit back, you go, there's a lot of buzz after that. But like, I don't know, man. For some reason, I don't know if Connor's ever going to step in that ring, right? Because of his 2 fights with UFC left. Will they allow it or whatever? But the eyes, like, I can't believe the eyes are on BKFC as much as it is. That's a great sport. I love it. It's my favorite combat sport. You guys are obviously dominating, knocking people out where you're not seeing these kind of knockouts in any other sport. Like guys get knocked out. They're not falling limp like dudes are falling limp on here. The women, even the women are bashing each other's faces in. You just had, what was her name? Taylor something, the Killer Bee girl. She just went to war with that girl. And I'm like, yo, these girls' fights are looking better than some MMA dudes' fights. You know what I mean? Like, so it's impressive.
Yeah, like I said in the beginning, you have to be a different breed to be fighting in this bare knuckle shit. A lot of high level MMA guys, they get punched once and they take a knee.
Yeah.
So this is the purest form of fighting, and that's it.
So I know you don't want to say who. I'm never going to ask. But depending on who you get, right? Like, oh man, how do I ask this without asking? Because I feel, to me, trajectory-wise and what I've seen, and I don't care whose names or what, to me, I never was a name guy, right? Like, to me, it's just what's on the front, never the name on the back. But
exactly
where you're at now, I'm like, yo, this guy is dominated the way he is. And I would love to see you put in a position where, like, I've seen some of these guys who get a title fight and they kind of like fall short and it's not even close and they don't have that thing in them. And I'm like, give it to somebody who wants it. And I know that you're somebody who wants it and you won't fold under that pressure. So I'm hoping that you get into that position sooner than later because, I mean, listen, I love fighting. I love people doing what they do. But I don't know. I think in less than a year, I think you're going to get a title fight. I'm just throwing it out there.
That's the goal. In less than a year, I will get a title shot, the one, honestly, like, that last title fight for 155, that was a good fight. But
it was all right.
It was a really good fight. It was a really good fight. They went to war. But we'll just keep it at that.
Yeah. See, he's doing the very nice guy thing. I thought that fight was all right, right? Like, I watched it and said, this was all right, right? Like, this wasn't what I expected. It was all right, but
it was a good fight. They both came to fight.
Yeah. But I think if they slide you in there, instead of it being a fight, it's a war. And that's where I think the difference of fighters, where people go, oh, yeah, this was a great fight. Yeah, but if you put the right people to fight against each other, this is a war, right? Like, and this is what you want with combat fights. This is why people love Tyson. Tyson went in and he was just trying to explode on people,
exactly.
So I think that's where I'm at. I know, listen, you're in your car, salute. I was like, I got this guy in here for a half hour. It's Brick City over there. He's right outside from the gym. Listen, it's at Hungry Hasan. This is one of the baddest dudes you could see. Now, is there anything you want to leave them with? Like, sponsors, nutrition, whatever you're attached to.
There's the snow.
Oh, you're wildin'. This
Nah,
is
there's the
my
snow.
man's
Right?
in 20 feet of snow.
There's the snow right there.
This
So,
guy, listen, he needs dog sleds to go to the gym right now.
yeah, there's the snow. The gym is right in front of me. I gotta walk through all this shit and go back in. So
Jesus. So, anything you want to leave these people with?
no, thank you for having me, man.
No, listen. I'm super appreciative.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I said I'm super appreciative. Like, I love talking to real ones, and I know you're a real one, so I dig it. This is super cool for me, and I can't wait to see more nasty knockouts you provide.
For sure, brother. After I knock out this next dude,
Let,
whoever,
listen.
I'll come back on.
There you go. That's what I'm talking about. He's gonna go knock this next guy out. It is what it is. For myself, Mr. Hungry Hasan, we out of here. Deuces.